Known as the father of horror tales, Edgar was born on January 1909 in Boston. He was the son of Elizabeth Arnold Poe and David Poe, as a street actor who left him orphaned at the age of 2. Okay, Edgar Allan was forging his character through several important factors that influenced his intellectual development. He was one of the most representative figures of the 19th century in American literature. Okay, his work revealed remarkable psychological and analytical acuity, and makes remarkable use of the fantastic and macabre element. In Boston, he began collaborating in various newspapers where he published some of his poems. Then he joined the army, in whose ranks he remained for 2 years. Then he retired from it to devote himself again to literature. He later settled in Baltimore, but his writings were not so successful. Okay? In those years, Poe began to become familiar with alcohol and drugs. In 1832, the Philadelphia Saturday Courier published some of his stories, and that same year he was awarded an award for his short story, The Manuscript. Poe continued to collaborate in newspaper, although given his aggressive character, he always ended up fighting with his bosses. Okay? In 1838, his work Ventura by Arthur Gordon Pym appeared, and in 1840, Arab's Great Tales. Okay? From that date on, and because of his conflicted relationship, Poe stopped collaborating in some newspaper and fell into absolutely mystery. Okay? As we read Poe, we intuit that the purpose he pursues with his narrative is not to be interested in a plot, nor to show its literary quality, its fluidity, nor the purity of its languages. Poe tries to impress the reader. In his narrative, there is no moral or message. There are only strong colors, extreme sensation. Poe tries and manages to terrify Salem, okay, despair. His life seems like one more of his mind-blowing story, okay?
Hello, I am Andrea Morales and I will be talking about the historical context of the Black Cat from Edgar Allan Poe. This century is marked by socio-political conditions such as the War of Secession that confirms Felipe V on the throne. With him, it comes the absolute monarchy. The government centralized the powers in itself. There is a clear influence of the enlightened French despotism. This totalitarian change takes place during the reigns of Carlos III and Fernando VII. It is also the century of reason. This will be the one that guides man in ethical and scientific problems, so that reason calls into question previous theories and beliefs in science. It is a period of reflection, of demographic and economic expansion, and of peace, as well as the development of the middle class, such as merchants, officials, and artisans. This illustration was born in England, but quickly spread throughout Europe and triumphed in France. Empiricism is born defending that everything that can be proven is true. With this way of questioning life, traditional knowledge is questioned, and this will lead to cultural and social status. At this time, there is the Industrial Revolution in England and the French Revolution in France. In politics, there is absolutism, quote-unquote, everything for the people but without the people. The claims of the intellectuals were to increase progress and knowledge. The illustration gives importance to public education, the organization of cultural institutions, and all gender based on reflection and the didactic character of most of the works. Diderot published in Paris an ambitious project called the Encyclopedia in 1750. In this where all the knowledge was gathered. In Spain, this project is late and censored, so the Spanish illustrators were more moderated. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Maria Jose Nieves, and I will talk about the plot of the work. The protagonist, was a man of docile and kind character. He lives with his wife and his animals, a hobby they share. He was more friendly with his black cat called Pluton than with the other animals. The cat followed him everywhere showing his affection, but this changed when the man began to suffer a change in his personality because of alcohol. He mistreated his wife and animals, except the cat, who had enormous respect. But one night, when he came home, he took out an eye of the cat to nibble his hand and continued to harm the animal. In the evening of the same day, the man and his wife had to flee their house due to a fire. In the morning, he visited the house and observed that only one wall remained standing where there was the image of a large cat. This caused him to live with regrets and bad sleep. One night, the man discovered in a bar a black cat resembling Pluton, which he took home. But soon he began to hate the animal. One day, the man went down to the basement of the new house where they lived. Because of the cat, he almost fell down the stairs. So he took an axe to kill him. Instead of killing the cat, he killed his wife for trying to stop him. The protagonist hid his wife's corpse inside one of the basement walls and without even noticing the cat, who gave him away with his moans when the police were searching the house.
Okay, we are going to analyze The Black Cat. The Black Cat is one of the best known short stories of the master of the Gothic tale, Edgar Allan Poe. With a first-person narration, the psychopathy protagonist reveals his interior and his experiences with his pets and his wife. We know that he was tender in his childhood, that he was a lover of all kids of fauna, that I love them, that he even cursed them. Okay, so Poe reflects in his work a remarkable psychological acuity and analytical capacity and makes a notable use of the fantastic and macabre element. When we're reading one of the Edgar Allan Poe's works, it's impossible not to resist the defenseless atmosphere and mysterious surrounding his tales. Poe investigates the darkness of the human soul and manages to capture it in its immense complexity.